For you, what's the challenge into, emulating the Beatles without being the Beatles, with being your character? I mean, it works on very different layers, and that's the great part of this role.
Yeah, and it was a really fun challenge. I mean, it was probably the best 2 months of prep for a movie I'll ever get to do. I just got to be in this room that we set up at the offices in London where we made it look like Jack's bedroom. There was a bed, a record player, a piano, and the guitars.
All the posters. It was like going into Jack Malik's room.
Yeah, and so I got to spend 2 months in this room, like kind of just jamming and getting better at guitar and making the songs kind of Jack's rather than the Beatles, because we couldn't be beholden to the original records. But how do we do that respectfully without kind of over modernising it? So it was so fun to kind of go through it and then share it with Danny and see what he thought, and then like kind of do our own recordings and stuff. And like there was a point where you were like whacking a bin for a drum. It was really good fun
to create different sounds and claps. And Daniel was the composer, was really inventive in that way, and like wanted to capture that thing where the Beatles were just in the studio creating all different sounds, and it would have just been mayhem. And so
you had just come out of a film, or you were singing yourself, so how much did you resist the temptation of humming some tunes?
It's impossible not to hum the Beatles tunes. I mean, I think everyone on set was humming them the whole time. But it was amazing to watch Himesh do it. I mean, it was like it kind of like took my breath away, like the ease and the skill and the honesty and like a bit like Ed Sheeran, like you're so relaxed, like you have that, like, so it just feels so like true. So it was just great to watch that.
And having Ed on set, I mean, obviously he is, he is the ultimate dude. So tell us about having him.
Yeah, he was great.
The ginger geezer.
The ginger geezer, bring on the ginger geezer. He was very fun to be around and very relaxed as a performer, which made him a really great actor to work with, because, as actors we're often striving to be relaxed and more often than not fail. So it was great to work with someone who was just at ease with what he had to do and how he was going to do it, and to learn from him, of course, being who he is, was a joy.
How big were some locations? Was Wembley as big as it looks on screen? The
we
festivals?
were at Wembley,
it's huge.
And we were at Latitude Festival, and the Pier Hotel. We were on the pub in Galston. Was called
the Pier Hotel.
Was it called the Pier
Hotel?
Hotel in real life? Though?
In Galston.
Yeah, it's called the Pier Hotel. Of course it was. And we were on there, and there was a 5,000 crowd that came that day along the beach in Galston. It was.
Yeah.
It was pretty insane. I mean, to be in Wembley Arena at like 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. as the sun is rising, and we're like the only people in there.
Yeah, there was this beautiful moment where the sun was rising. The sun just kind of came through and it was like some sort of holy moment. It was amazing.
Yeah, I took a picture where it was like the sky's like all these like different colours and like almost like pink, and it's just like, so lucky.
Which Beatles song is most significant to you because it reminds you of something?
Significant.
Or just memorable?
Back in the USSR, because that was my first audition with Danny and Richard, and the first song I sang was Yesterday, funnily enough, and then I kind of juxtaposed it with this energetic version of Back in the USSR, and I think that's what Danny really liked, so I guess that'll always be a moment for me,
I meant in real life.
I remember, well, this is kind of real life / not. Well, I had a boyfriend that loved, like, an old ex-boyfriend who was just from Liverpool, and all over his room in wherever it was, there was like wooden beams, and he would like write lyrics of the Beatles, and so that's quite a vivid memory for me, and play the Beatles a lot.
What are you most hoping audiences take out of this film? I mean, there's a feel-good element. There's an element that pays tribute to music as well.
Yeah, I feel good paying tribute to music, but also paying tribute to the goodness of people and the things that really matter, which is love and community, and just celebrating the best of people. And I think that's something that we certainly need right now. So I hope that people take that from our story.
Yeah, optimism and hope, and believing in that, believing in the goodness, believing in, love. And
What movie, if it was erased from memory, would you be most devastated not to remember?
The Notebook.
Good choice.
I'm going to say, Before Sunrise.
All three of them.
All three of them. Yeah, all three of those movies.
I
Yeah.
love those movies.
God.